The Northern Edition starts now.
The Bahamas denied the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, despite a court order to return to work, members of 3 unions under the TUC withheld their labor for a second day due to a number of outstanding issues.
Until we get an official court order, you get the word I use, an official court order, then we go back to work. But there's no official court order.
Members of the Customs, Immigration and Allied Workers Union, the Nurses Union, and Commonwealth Union of Hotel Services say they were not backing down until they receive official documents ordering them to return to work. The workers assembled at the Taxi Union Hall Thursday due to inclement weather. Trustee with the Customs and Immigration Union, Rudy Stubbs, says all of the participating unions have legal certificates to conduct strike action, and he says union leaders will not stand by and allow workers' rights to be violated.
Once you have a dispute within your working environment, and that dispute is sent on to the Minister of Labor for ratification and conciliation, and if it fails, then you make an application to that minister again for a strike poll. And once you are successful at your strike poll, as pertaining to those disputes, then you are issued a strike certificate by that very same Minister of Labor.
Some of the workers who participated in the strike action say they were threatened to be fired. Stubbs says those workers did nothing wrong, and he believes that's just a union-busting tactic.
There will always be the threat of firing. You remember when Customs and Immigration went on strike in 2012? We were told, we know who went, we know who stayed, and we will be fired, those who went. Well, I was one of those who went. Where am I today?
The Director of Labor, Robert Farquharson, commenting on the ongoing strike by affiliates of the Trade Union Congress. Farquharson is urging union members to respect the order of the court.
Order of the court is binding on all parties. The President of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress has been served with all of the required documents regarding the order to return to work and to cease forthwith. If those employees remain off the job, they are in violation of the court order and they will be considered in contempt of court. I am certain that if that action continues, the Attorney General will have no choice but to seek an order from the court for those persons who do not comply with the court order to be found in contempt of court.
The Director of Labor points out that this injunction does not apply to the Commonwealth Union of Hotel Services and the Managerial Union at the Grand Lucayan Resort. He says the property is a private entity and the operators can clearly seek an injunction on their own. In the meantime, he is offering a bit of advice to all striking union members.
I want to encourage them to simply follow the law. Simply follow the law. For uncertain, look for the law. It's straight and plain. Look for the law. Look at the Industrial Relations Act. Go to Section 77 of the Act. Read and see what your views are, and make sure exercise your right. You have to exercise your right. Take part in a lawful strike. I encourage every employee to do that. But the term is lawful strike. If the law says certain things, everybody must follow the law.
Members of the government's VAT education team taking the information campaign to the wider community last night. Members addressed a town meeting at the Foster B. Pastina Center here in Freeport. As Megan Shepard tells us, residents had a myriad of questions about the upcoming tax.
Wednesday evening's town meeting provided residents with an opportunity to have open dialogue with the value-added tax education team. Financial Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, John Rowe, reiterating the importance of VAT to the country.
This is more than just about value-added tax. This is about a government trying to get its financial house in order, cut down on deficit, eliminate deficit, and get its debt burden reduced, because the government spends, well, this year, about $250+ million in interest payments alone on debt, valuable resources that can be placed elsewhere in terms of providing services for the nationals of this country. So this reform really is about getting that debt ratio lowered, taking more of the resources that go into paying interest on debt and channeling it into areas that we can get more direct benefits.
Now, residents were able to put forth questions to the panel, ranging from simple yes or no answers to questions that still need to be looked at in more depth. One resident was particularly concerned about utilities.
I read in this pamphlet that it says that the cost of living will be around 5%. And as I'm hearing over and over that with this legislation, it's also affected in the reduction of customs duty. And I would like to know if in your legislation, is there any protections to control utility increases? As you are controlling customs duty, are you guys controlling electricity, the increase in electricity and the increase in utilities?
Other residents were concerned about which of the basic and day-to-day necessities would be affected come January 1st, 2015.
We would like to know if banks are paying VAT, how does that gonna apply to us who have to go to the bank to get a loan, get a mortgage, because all in all, you know they're gonna double charge it back to us.
Is VAT paid on gasoline? As it relates to gasoline, will there be a breakdown on the receipt which shows how much Focal gets, how much government gets, and how much VAT gets? Is there going to be a full disclosure of information on the gas receipt? Is VAT payable on pampers for babies? Is VAT payable on baby food? You see, that is my point.
Another resident noted that although the country's #1 industry is tourism, Grand Bahama is mainly driven by its industrial sector, and this should be taken into account.
Grand Bahama Shipyard, we cater to foreign vessels, foreign companies, where we repair the ships for foreign entities. Them coming here is just competitiveness, and we trying to keep the price as low as possible to keep them coming here. So we have to pay VAT on our services to them. What's going to keep them coming here and patronize our business if they have to pay VAT on that?
One local business owner is suggesting complete transparency when it comes to charging consumers VAT on goods.
We've alluded to the fact that we need to make up, or hoping to make up, 300 million here. And I'm patriotic, because you've alluded to our patriotism too, by digging deeper into our pockets. I'd like to see it reflected everywhere, so that the consumer and the public can decide just how patriotic he would like to be with some of his extra money today and tomorrow and every day. So perhaps we would consider showing the VAT separately on price labels, not just as a ballpark number at the bottom of an invoice.
The next town meeting will be held tonight in the Western District. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Business owners also had an opportunity to hear about the details of the value-added tax set to be implemented in January of next year. Financial Secretary John Roll listening to the concerns and answering questions from business leaders during a luncheon meeting yesterday afternoon. Licensees of the Grand Bahama Port Authority want to know how the value-added tax system will affect their businesses under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. There was a level of confusion as Financial Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, John Roll, attempted to answer that question.
The business-to-business transaction, there would be the invoicing for the VAT. You claim it back.
The business leaders were still not clear on the issue, and Roll said that there will be further discussions to that end in order to bring clarification. There is concern that VAT could damage the retail sector on Grand Bahama, as many companies may have to eliminate the middleman.
There is no VAT that the licensee would be required to to remit or hand over on importation in those cases where they are part of the bonded warehousing arrangements.
Business owners also fear that VAT will open the door for competition with foreign companies as consumers seek to avoid the taxation. Roll says that the government is working to ensure that VAT is made as simple as possible.
There will also be lots of work in terms of taking the various guidance, notes, and guidelines and converting them into VAT rules, following a lot of the feedback from the public in terms of whether there is sufficient clarification or sufficient clarity to what's in those, making sure that what those guidance notes are saying are consistent with the law and that there are no contradictions, and where contradictions may have slipped in, that those are cleaned up.
Some business owners are requesting that the January 1st implementation date be pushed back. Now, the financial secretary correcting a statement made at that luncheon yesterday. During the presentation, John Roll stated that the sale of goods between licensees of the Grand Bahama Port Authority would be subject to VAT, and that VAT would only be excluded based on the amounts that should have been collected by customs. He is now clarifying that this is not the case. He said the intended treatment of these transactions is exactly as they are described in the guidance notes for the port area and in the legislation. Sale of items between licensees where they are considered consumables are not subject to VAT. The financial secretary went on to explain that the law does provide for licensees to apply for a refund of VAT already paid to customs in cases where licensees are supplied with goods shipped from elsewhere in the Bahamas. Under the VAT legislation, port licensees are not required to pay VAT on goods that are imported into Freeport, where they go directly into producing other goods or services. The legislation treats these as non-consumables within the meaning established by the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. As the Ministry of Finance continues its campaign to educate Bahamians on how value-added tax will work, a local religious leader is throwing his support behind this government initiative. Pastor of Mount Calvary Baptist Church, Rev Paul Mulling, says he appreciates that the government has to take measures to increase its revenue, and while he says he would prefer income tax, he believes the implementation of VAT is a good move.
I am for VAT. I'm for any form of taxation that's going to help us pay our debt, because it has to be paid. But again, the giant in the monster in the room, the 1,000-pound gorilla, whatever you want to call it, accountability. We have to address the problem of wastage, misappropriation, all that kind of stuff, the collection of revenue. Because again, if we don't, no matter what we have on the books, if we're not enforcing it, it's not going to work.
In other news, the public is advised that the emergency lines at the police control room here on Grand Bahama are currently out of service. In the event of an emergency, you are asked to call 350-3014 or 350-3016. The public will be notified when the police emergency lines are back up and running. Stay with us. There's more news after this.
Of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.
Dolly Madison Home Center is Hurricane Supplies Central. Come on down now for your large and small generators, propane and butane stoves, LED flashlights galore, oil lamps, fuel canisters, coolers, batteries, gas and electric chainsaws, cooking supplies, tools, tarps, matches, duct tape, and more are conveniently located in our Hurricane Supplies aisle and throughout Dolly Madison.
So come on down now.
I
Buy one at Pizza Hut and so can you.
Purchase any Pizza Hut value deal and fill out an entry form for your chance to win an HP Touch Smart laptop. Choose from a one-topping personal pan pizza or pizzelle with a 16-ounce drink for $4.99. 5 breadsticks with cheese, 3 chicken tenders and a 16-ounce drink, $6.99. Personal lasagna, side salad and a 16-ounce drink, $9.99. 1 personal one-topping pizza, cinnamon sticks and a 16-ounce drink for $7.99. Purchase any of these Pizza Hut value deals for your chance to win HP Touch Smart laptop.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Renew You, presenting life and relationship coach Tony Gaskin. And Grand Bahama, October 25th. Tickets go on sale September 19th.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Bahamas National Trust hosting the 3rd International Union of Conservation of Nature Conference. Delegates from 7 Caribbean countries are on the island to participate in the parley that focuses on matters of conservation. BNT Parks manager Lakeisha Anderson says Grand Bahama has a lot to gain from this regional event.
In discussing a lot of important topics as it relates to the protected area system in the Bahamas. And, you know, the work that we're doing today not just looks at the existing national parks and other protected areas across the Bahamas, but also future on new national parks, on how we would look at managing those individual sites and how they fit into the international context of management categories.
The Best Commission, Clifton Heritage Foundation, Nature Conservancy, and Marine Resources are involved in the sessions. Tomorrow, delegates will make a visit to Peterson Key. Regional participants are eager to learn more about conservation efforts on Grand Bahama.
We are looking to support the Bahamas in their move to strengthen their protected area system. This activity in terms of identifying how to apply the IUCN management categories is a critical aspect for protected area systems in the region and around the world. And we are hoping that the exercise is useful for not just the Bahamian team, but also some of our colleagues who we have from 6 different countries.
In November this year, we are going to be hosting the 4th World Parks Congress in Sydney, Australia. And this is one of the important topics worldwide to discuss. And we're going to make sure that the case study of the Bahamas is discussed in the Congress, and also will enrich future reviews of the management categories guidelines for the other countries.
The month of October is fast approaching, and that means the annual Concracking Festival will soon be here. The event is set to take place in McLeanstown, East Grand Bahama on Monday, October 13th, Heroes Day. In addition to the support given by the Grand Bahama and Sweeting Ski communities, Chairman Kendall Lethan says they are pleased to have local businesses on board.
It's a good economic boost for the East End, and also we encourage the business to participate. Just bring out your team and we can have a competitive concracking. Also, even the family who wants to participate, they can bring their families, so we can go family against family, and there's many different categories that we can arrange even as we go along.
Committee Representative Rudy Sawyer says many events are on the agenda for the Heritage Festival in the East, and festivities are expected to appeal to both visitors and Grand Bahamians from all walks of life.
It's going to be a big family event. The traditional festival activities are going to be there, the games, there's going to be kayaking. There's actually going to be something special this year for the first time. We're going to do a photo art exhibition. And along with that will be a craft person from the area.
The art exhibition promises to be a treat at the Concracking event. Other activities will include a bird watching tour and even a demonstration on conch by the Bahamas National Trust. The Member of Parliament for Marco City reaching out to the students of that constituency and the greater Freeport area, providing school supplies for students from primary to high school. The giveaway taking place this past Saturday and attracted a large crowd of youngsters who were eager to receive the supplies that will better prepare them for this school term. MP Greg Moss says he considers it an honor to be able to make a difference in the lives of the youth of the island.
The whole point of public service is to help. And we still are experiencing some significant difficulties economically for a lot of parents. And so really grateful. I'm really grateful that we have been able to do this to assist the parents. And we have a great turnout today. What we have done this year, which is different, is we have not made it a fair, a mini fair with food and bouncing castles and the rest of it. The economic times are too bad for that. We have had to put all of the money just into school supplies.
Moss says he is concerned about the level of need in the community and he's calling on others to give back.
And I'm encouraging people in the business community, if you have money, if you have supplies, please feel free to donate them to us and we'll donate them to people. Also parents, if you have uniforms from previous years, your children have outgrown or they're no longer in school, we have significant needs. Bring the school uniforms for us, for any school. We will take care of them, we'll launder them, we'll press them, we'll get them to people who need them.
The faculty and students of a local private institution starting the new academic year off with a worship service on Sunday. Administration staff and students of Grace Christian Academy joined the congregation at Grace Bible Church on Nansen Avenue to seek God's guidance and protection for the year ahead. Highlighting the school's theme for this year with all stakeholders, Principal Betty McCartney encouraged parents and guardians to take a holistic approach towards their children's education.
It's not just good enough to send them to school, but we need your help. We want you to make sure that they are doing homework. We want you to make sure they are studying. We want you to make sure they get good rest. We want you to make sure they get a good breakfast in the morning. And we want you to make sure that they are here on time.
Pastor of Grace Bible Church, Reverend Audley Swain, focused his message on the biblical story of how Adam and Eve were deceived by Satan in the Garden of Eden.
The word deceive means to mislead somebody. It's like somebody asks you where's the bathroom and you tell them it's on the outside. Now, boys and girls, you know where the bathroom is, right? Or it's like you go into the store, and you go in the store and you're going to buy one of the GCA school shirts. And the store owner tells you, you can take this off-white shirt. Nobody in the school knows the difference between off-white and yellow. That is what it means to deceive or mislead. And you know, and many times people fall for Satan's deceptions.
He encouraged those in attendance to turn away from Satan and draw nigh to God.
What does Jesus say to you and me? He says to us, come to him. Come to me, he says. Come. All those who come to me, he says, I will not turn you away. You know, in the Gospel of John in the 6th chapter, he says, all that the Father giveth me shall come to me. And the one who comes to me, I will no wise turn away.
And that's what's making news tonight. But don't go away. Sports is up next with Ricardo Lightborn.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Freeport Jewelers in Port Lucaya. Fashion starts here.
Things tough, and every penny counts. But there are some things you have to do, like shop for back to school. So shop at Bethel's, located at number 9 West Mall, where you will find all the textbooks and school supplies your child needs. Now save even more with our summer savings, where our low prices are even lower, with discounts and prizes and cash giveaways that makes your budget stretch even farther. Save money, shop at Bethel's.
Do you know what driving while intoxicated means? Motorists who drive while texting. Did you know that motorists who talk on handheld or even hand-free devices while driving are just as impaired as drunk drivers. Countless of accidents happen every year and even deaths due to these thoughtless actions. So remember, the next time you're attempted to text and drive, remember it may mean life or death.
This message was brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas and John West Shoe Store. We're going to take you there in style.
It's time for sports, everybody. I'm Ricardo Lightborn, and tonight this one is going to be dedicated to a very special lady, and that is Rachel Dean. She's actually going to be getting herself back on track. You know, she had a little accident playing soccer. Just joking. September 18th at the MGM Grand, it's the Mayhem 2. Mayweather and Madonna is going to be going at a rematch, and guess what? The guys at the Cabinet Restaurant and Lounge are going with Mayweather all the way Saturday night. Next month, it's Tank Williams' turn. Sherman's going to be in New Zealand for his 12-round clash with Joseph Parker. I got my money on Tank. I end up with Mayweather. Bahama heavyweight boxing champion Sherman Tank Williams is back in the squared circle in October in a showdown with Joseph Parker down under in New Zealand. During the promotional tour of New Zealand, Tank says he's ready to fight.
If we were in the Bahamas, it would be the same thing. You know, I don't mind. This is Joseph's hometown. So what my plans are, come October 16, I'm going to go out there and take care of business to give Joseph a beating, take the titles back to the Bahamas, and then next year we get to do this again, but in my neck of the woods, in the Bahamas.
Tank was asked about the age factor in the upcoming fight. He says he's not fazed. He says also that he's a boxer, and he's a good one too.
Some of the naysayers and the pundits, they look at the negative side of it. Everybody's talking about age, and you know that don't matter to me. You know, I feel just as good as I was when I was 21. So I got the experience, I got the knowledge. It's nothing that I've never seen before in boxing that Joseph could teach me at this point. So I'm the one that got the tricks. I'm the one that got the experience. And come October 16 in Auckland, I plan to deliver a shellacking.
And he's under a bit more pressure being at home, isn't he? The expectation's high.
Well, you know, I would assume so. But for me, I'm comfortable. I'm relaxed. I'm enjoying this media tour. Leave tomorrow, get back to boxing camp in Florida, and I return a week before the fight and to just take care of business. But, you know, boxing is twofold. You don't have to be the enemy. I don't feel like the enemy. I've been embracing New Zealand just like I was a Kiwi, but I'm 100% Bahamian, and I've been having fun.
And get this, Tank also play a little bit of rugby. YMCA Commercial Basketball League finals now set, folks. The Grand Lucane Warriors have earned that right to play for the finals. They also defeated the Ironman Hawks 50-49. Irvin Lewis had a 24-point game. Anton Thompson also the good one going as well. He had some 21. And the Grand Lucane Warriors were in the Borka Wallers. They're going to be playing their first game Friday night, 8 o'clock. It'll be at the YMCA. It is best of 5 games. And fast-pitch softball play at the Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association. Let me give you this. The Portside Flyers stopped the first-class Jets 12-0, and the win goes to Antonia Cooper. Gwen Simonapinda got the loss. In the men's showdown, Control Chemical Sweepers defeated the Pats Uniform Reds 12-11. Dexter Hall got the win. The loss went to Ken Store. Not bad. Those guys are having some fun. Welcome to the Canada Nice Track Club. We'll coordinate the cross-country meet this month. Well, as the off-season development tool, Coach Frederick Bastian believes that development for middle-distance runners is actually very, very important. You see, cross-country is actually the way to make it happen. Later this month, he says that they're going to be doing just that, and that is to harness the interest of some athletes and get them out there running as best they can.
What I want to do is bring it back. I want to bring back that distant atmosphere to let kids know, let parents know that they can learn it. You know, they don't have to be afraid of the distance. They don't have to worry about the mind. But everybody says, oh, it's too long and what's up? Yes, we know the races are long and we know they are strenuous. But guess what? What one can learn, and they could learn the different energy as they go along. Because that's what I do. I just only coach it, but I teach it.
The first meet is actually pegged for the 27th of September, the Ruby Golf Course, and every month there's going to be one at the same time, and he hopes that this will be a national and international event.
I'm going to take it not only just locally, but it's also going to go international wise, because a part of what I'm doing is going to be done throughout all the Bahama Islands, you know. So again, I'm going to be bringing in, as I work with the kids with my Family Island program, as I work with the kids in the family, I'll teaching them the same system that I taught here in Grand Bahama. It's going to be taught throughout the whole Bahamas and with every coaches who want to learn that or who want to receive that type of knowledge.
And I got to tell you that the Atlanta Hawks, as you know, their cheerleaders have been here for the past week. They finished their shoot today. They leave tomorrow. We'll show you exactly how the shoot went. Make sure you're here. You're going to be impressed. That's a look at sports tonight.